So I just finished drafting for my main league this year, and we're going to break down how it went, why I picked the players I picked, and what team I ended up with. This is a 10-man PPR league, and I was drafting from the 6th overall pick. Drafting from the 106, I was expected to take Christian McCaffrey, and this is who I started out taking in my mocks, and I eventually did switch things up, and in my first round, I ended up taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'll throw up the draft card right here so you guys can see how the first round went. My team being Respect the 5, shout out Jaden Daniels. The reason I took Amon-Ra is because I wanted to go with a safe first round pick. I knew I was going to be using my second round to secure a good RB, so I felt comfortable in securing a solid wide receiver and not having to worry about potential injury risk or anything like that. Moving into round 2, this is where I knew I was going to be taking my running back 1, and I was able to secure the guy who I wanted, and that was Chase Brown. I ended up reaching 5 or so picks to take Chase Brown. Here was how the second round went. You see Genty went early. He went a pick number 1 of the second round, so I didn't have my choice at Genty or Chase Brown, which was my original debate. Round 3 is where I got sent out of my prep. So I obviously had prep going into this draft. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and by round 3, it actually got messed up a lot, and I was forced to kind of play the rest of the draft just going off of my knowledge. And that's because in all of my prep, I had taken Amon-Ra and Chase Brown in every single draft. And in round 3, I was always taking Javonte Williams. This is because I felt very comfortable that Javonte Williams would be there to me. I would secure my RB2 before it got too late. However, when I got up on the clock in round 3, Javonte Williams was still available, but one player was available who I did not expect or anticipate to be available, and that was Malik Nabers. And personally, I felt like this opportunity was one that was much too good to pass up on, so I took Malik Nabers with my 3rd round pick. Obviously, I had backup drafts planned for if I was able to get Malik Nabers, so I still had a rough idea of what I wanted to do, but I was very happy with this pick. But then moving into round 4, which is where I was usually then taking like a Devonta Smith, an Emeka Egbuka, a Zay Flowers, a Lad McConkey to be my wide receiver 2, I now felt forced to take a running back in that zone of Scatterbo, Kyron, Judkins, etc. because I had gone with 2 wide receivers and 1 running back. However, this round also got kind of crazy. A lot of the guys who I wanted went, and I found myself getting up and having George Pickens still available to me on the board, and that is who I did take. This is how the round went. You can see Zay Flowers and Devonta Smith went before my pick, guys who I was typically picking here. And then Cam Scatterbo, the running back I was going to pick, went 1 pick before me. This left me with George Pickens and Chris Olave. I ended up using my entire clock here deciding between Pickens and Olave. This was a very, very tight pick for me. I did end up going with George Pickens. I felt like I wanted to build a very solid team, but this also correlated with a strategy that I implemented down the board, which you guys will see. But moving into round 5, I was very worried because I had taken just 1 running back and 3 wide receivers. And the way my pick was lined up, that zone of running backs like Scatterbo, Judkins,